Mataji, over to you, please. Hare Krishna, Mataji, can you please start? Hare Krishna. Panchali Mataji, can you hear me?
Hare Krishna Mataji, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Mataji, I just sent you a text message. I just literally 2 minutes ago finished work. So can you just give me a couple of minutes? If you
Sure.
if you kindly start with the reading the verse, I'll join you in literally a couple of minutes.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Prathanatma Prabhu, is it possible for you to do the Mangalacharan and then read text 34, please? My internet is giving me problems. Therefore, I'll be cutting on and off.
Okay, Haribo.
Let's start with the Mangalacharan.
Okay, just one. I hope I'm audible.
Yes,
Hare
Prabhuji, you
Krishna.
are audible. Yes,
Okay.
yes, you are.
I'll start. Om Adhyana Timirandasya Yananjana Salakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manu Abhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutalim Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sadhana Lalita Shri Visakamitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radha Vrindavaneshwari Vishaban Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanubhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Shiva Narottam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamuday Udirayat Ashtaprayashu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sivaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, titled The Cosmic Manifestation, text 34. Chapter 9, answers by citing the Lord's version, text 34. Let's start with the Sanskrit. Rite artam yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tad vidyadatmano mayam yata vasho yata tamaha. Rite artam yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tad vidyadatmatu atmano mayam yata vasho yata tamaha. Riteyartam jat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chat mani tadidya mattu atmano mayam yata basho yata tamaha. Transliteration. Rite without artham value, jat that which pratiyeta appears to be, na not pratiyeta appears to be, cha and atmani in relation to me, tat that, vidyat you must know, atmana mayam illusory energy, yata just as, abhasa reflect the reflection, yata as, tamaha the darkness. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness.
Thank you,
In the
Prabhuji.
previous verse, it has Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you,
Thank you so
Prabhuji.
much.
Please, yeah, I think we are doing verse by verse, aren't we? So, Prabhuji, if you can kindly just read the first verse.
Okay, the first paragraph, I think.
Just the first paragraph. Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Haribo. In the previous verse, it has already been concluded that in any stage of the cosmic manifestation, its appearance, its sustenance, its growth, its interactions of different energies, its deterioration and its disappearance, all has its basic relation with the existence of the personality of Godhead. And as such, whenever there is forgetfulness of this prime relation with the Lord, and whenever things are accepted as real without being related to the Lord, that conception is called a product of illusory energy of the Lord. Because nothing can exist without the Lord, it is to be known that the illusory energy is also an energy of the Lord. The right conclusion of dovetailing everything in relationship with the Lord is called Yogamaya, or the energy of union. And the wrong conception of detaching a thing from its relationship with the Lord is called the Lord's Daivi Maya or Mahamaya.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Both the Mayas also have connections with the Lord because nothing can exist without being related to Him. As such, the wrong conception of detaching relationships from the Lord is not false but illusory. Haribo.
It's not false illusory. Sorry, I kept interrupting you because the text wasn't in front of me. I was in apologies. Just finished
Hey,
a
no
while
problem, no
ago. So
problem.
thank you very much, Prabhuji, for reading that. Hare Krishna to all of you. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to be able to serve Srimad Bhagavatam and to be able to serve all of you. I start the discussion today by paying my obeisances to my guru and to all the gurus who helped me, gave me whatever little understanding I have to be able to serve Srimad Bhagavatam today. And if there are any mistakes or corrections, please do correct me. Hare Krishna. So we have been reading the Chatushloki for the past 7 or 8 days, 7 days, and we are going to continue with that today. The first 5 minutes, as I usually do, I'll do a quick recap of what we covered last week, and then I'll continue with next, our discussion today. So if you remember, we talked about just a quick recap. So the Chatushloki was it was spoken by the Lord. So Lord Brahma, he appeared on the lotus flower that came out or that sprouted from the navel of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. He was a bit perplexed, didn't know what to do, and so he did meditation. The Lord was very pleased with Lord Brahma's meditation, and so he revealed himself to Lord Brahma, and also shook his hands and said he was very happy with Lord Brahma's tapa, austerity, and the Lord asked Lord Brahma to ask him for some benediction, to which Lord Brahma asked for 3 boons, which were granted by the Lord. And that is when the Lord spoke the Chatushloki to Lord Brahma. And we also discussed that why is it that the Lord spoke the Chatushloki? Why not anything else? Does anyone remember? So the Lord could have said something else to Lord Brahma. Why did he speak the Chatushloki? So we discussed that Lord Brahma basically asked 3 questions to the Lord, or rather asked for 3 benedictions or boons from Lord Krishna. The first one was he asked Lord Krishna, or he asked the Lord, please give me understanding, knowledge, and intelligence and insight about you. So about you, meaning you in your entirety, the spiritual and the material. So that was the first question, or the first boon that Lord Brahma asked. The second one that Lord Brahma said was that, please make me enthusiastic. Please let me not be lethargic, because I need to do the creation. So that is in the mode of passion. And then which led to the last one, where Lord Brahma told the Lord that, please make me not be proud and slip from that mode of passion to the mode of ignorance. So these were the 3 things that we discussed last week as to why, what are the 3 things that Lord Brahma asked. And the Chatushloki was spoken by the Lord to Lord Brahma in answer to the first boon or the first request that Lord Brahma made, where Lord Brahma wanted to know about the Lord, where he said, please give me understanding, knowledge, intelligence, and insight to understand you, to know all about you, know why I'm here. And then it led us to our discussions on, what are the 4 questions asked in the Chatushloka? That was Jiva, Bhagavan, Maya, and Sadhana. And in the last week or so, we have talked about, in our session last week, and also, with the other other Guru Prabhujis and Matajis, you will have discussed the same thing as well. Jiva, Bhagavan, Maya, and Sadhana, which is the relationship with the Lord. Then we understood that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita further explains that, Bhagavatera Sambandha Abhidya Prayojana Chatushlokite Prakata Tarakariya Chilakshana, which means that the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam is our relationship with the Supreme Lord, our activities in that connection, and the goal of life, and which manifests itself in the Sambandha, Prayojana, and Abhidaya. And we talked a little bit about what are these 3 things. We said, what is Sambandha? Does anyone remember what Sambandha is? It is relationship, isn't it? Relationship with whom? Relationship with Krishna. Whose relationship with Krishna? The Jiva's relationship with Krishna. So Sambandha is the relationship between Krishna and the Jivas. And then once a Jiva who is stuck in the material world knows that they have a connection and a relationship with Krishna, what do they want to do? Because the souls are always active. So they want to establish that relationship further and act in a way in which to better that relationship. And that acting is the sadhana, is the way they make or they ensure that that relationship is bettered. And how do they do that? Through devotional service. And so this exchange by which a jiva connects to the Lord and establishes a relationship with Krishna by practicing devotional service is nothing but abhidaya. So sambandha is realizing that the jiva has a relationship with Krishna. Abhidaya is establishing that relationship with Krishna. And then the jiva might think, okay, fine, I understand that I've got a relationship with Krishna. I am acting in a way so to make this relationship better. But what do I get out of it? And that is what the answer is, prayojana. And what is prayojana? You get Krishna prem. That is the ultimate goal. And what happens if you get Krishna prem? You are able to transcend this material world and go back to Godhead. And so that Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami mentions by explaining Sambandha, Abhidaya, and Prayojana, saying that these are the core teachings of through the Chatushloki, where the Lord is trying to mention this. And so these are also what is not just jnanam, as is mentioned in verse 31. It's not just the knowledge about the absolute, but it's also realized knowledge. It's also vijnana. It's not just a secret, sarahasya, but it's also tadangam, the necessary paraphernalia, all that is required, all the sadhana bhakti that is required, all that comes along with the Lord to be able to make that relationship between the Lord and the jivas better. And lastly, we also talked about, and we expanded also on, we talked a bit about Achintaveda Tattva, which we mentioned again a bit today. But we also mentioned that, before I go over to the verse today, if you can remember, do I have sharing rights, Mataji? Am I able to share? Yes, I do.
Yes, Mataji, kindly go ahead.
So if you remember, can you see my screen? Okay, so if you remember, we talked about how the Chatushloki, the first two verses, verse 33 talks about God, which we talked about last week. How the verse which we are going to talk today is around Maya, or the illusory energy of the Lord. As Prabhuji read, even from the first verse itself, there is immediately there is mention of Maya. And these two, under Tattva or under philosophy, they form the Sambandha part. So it's establishing who are we, why are we here, who is God. And there is another relationship that we have over here in this material world, and that's the relationship with Maya. So all the relationship building comes in the first two verses of the Chatushloki. And then from the next verse, it comes around the Bhakta more, and then the Sadhana Bhakti more. And then we also mentioned that there are other realizations as well. Jiva Goswami, Krishnadas Kaviraj Maharaj, or Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. We will be touching a bit, or we touched a bit here and there, but ultimately we will be focusing more on what Prabhupada says. A lot of what Prabhupada says in verse 1 agrees with what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in Sarasa Darshana Tika. However, in verse 34, there's a slight difference, although not too much, but there's a slight difference between what Prabhupada says and what the other acharyas say. But since we are reading Prabhupada's purport, today being the first day of this verse, verse 34, we are going to concentrate on what Prabhupada says. So that is what we talked about last week, apart from a few other things as well. So now we move on to verse 34, which is the second verse of the Chatushloki. Can I just stop here for 30 seconds? Is that okay? Because I just rushed through the first 5 minutes. Hopefully that was okay, and a quick recap is fine. Okay. But do stop me if there are any questions anywhere. So, coming to the second verse of the Chatushloki. The second verse of the Chatushloki, as we've just understood, talks about the universe, the Maya, this material universe. Rite ritam yat pratyeta, na pratyeta chatmani. What does that mean? Whatever appears to be of value in this world, if it is unrelated to me, the Lord says, if it is unrelated to me, it is useless. It may appear to be useful, but it's actually useless. And that is what the Lord is saying. Okay, that's the meaning of the first two verses. The first two lines of the verse. And then he says, Tat vidyat atmaya atmano mayam. Know this, Lord Brahma, know this Brahma to be the result of Mahamaya. So what did the first two lines say? That everything that appears in this world, if they're unrelated to me, that's absolutely useless. And then the Lord says, do you know why, Brahma? Because that is the task of Mahamaya. And he then further says in the fourth line, Yatha paso, Vidya illuminates. However, what does Maya do? Yatha tama, avidya hides. So that is the task of Maya. What does Maya do? It takes away all our real knowledge, and it suppresses the real knowledge with avidya, which actually hides the real knowledge or separates us from Krishna. So the Lord says that so the purpose starts in the beginning, and then the Lord says that anything in this universe is absolutely useless. As Prabhupada says in many of his purports, that, you know, you can have lots of zeros, lots and lots and lots and lots of zeros. But unless and until you put a 1 or a number before that zero, those list of innumerable zeros come to nothing. They're of no use. Okay, so similarly, we can have an unlimited amount or number of things in this universe, but unless and until they are connected to the Lord, they are absolutely useless, because all they do is put us more and more into illusion. And that is what the Lord is saying. So rite, the first word of the verse, rite, means without. Rite artam meaning nothing without me makes any sense in this world. And why is that happening? Why does, why are people, why is the Lord having to say that to Brahma? Because the Lord knows that people will be attracted by this nothingness. And that is the nature of this world. That is the nature of Maya. Because Maya will make the jivas be attached to this huge creation of nothingness without connecting those things with Krishna. And so what is Maya? So Maya, as we see in the first verse itself, Prabhupada uses the word illusion and illusory a few times. So Maya is also from the Lord, but it becomes it makes everything meaningless for us. That transcendental knowledge, that vidya, which is the core identification of a soul, because the soul is Sat Chit Ananda. We are all part and parcel of the Lord, and we are all Sat Chit and Ananda. I mean, we talked about Achinta Bheda Ved Tattva, so we are the same with the Lord. We are same qualitatively with the Lord, just as a drop from in an ocean is as salty and the same in quality as the rest of the water in the ocean. However, quantitatively, we are completely different. We can't even, we are incomparable to the Lord. The Lord creates the entire creation, spiritual and material, with a spark of his energy. And we are just this tiny jiva over here. But qualitatively, we are the same. So quantitatively, we are different. So Achinta Veda Ved, same and different as the Lord. So that knowledge that we have, our souls have, it's transcendental as well. However, Maya takes it, that Maya covers it with avidya. So what is this Maya? Now, so we understand, we go right at the beginning. Let's start with Krishna. So who is Krishna? So there are so many definitions. Some might say, he's Muralitari Shamsundar. How would he, he's a son, he's a lover, he's a brother, he's a friend, he's a master. How would he define Krishna? But he is the absolute truth. Yes, everything comes from him. So he's the Shaktiman, as Prabhupada says. He is the Shaktiman. So in the Hare Krishna mantra, we know that Krishna. But what is this Hare that is always attached to Krishna? Hare is, as we know, is nothing but the Shakti, which precedes the personality Krishna. So when we are talking about the absolute truth, when we talk about the Shaktiman, a very, very strong personality, how do we define his strength? How do we say that this person is able to do something great because of his strength? So when we talk about a personality being able to do something because of the qualities they have, we cannot separate the personality from his qualities. So we understand that Krishna, the Shaktiman, to be able to do everything that he's doing, including the entire creation, is able to do that because of his Shakti. And so when we define, when the acharyas define the absolute truth, they define the absolute truth as a combination of the Shaktiman and the Shakti. And this Shakti, which we know is, the Adi Shakti is Radharani, and Krishna together make up the absolute truth. So this Adi Shakti, from the Adi Shakti, Krishna has innumerable number of energies. And those innumerable number of energies, they can be broadly categorized into the external energy, the internal energy, the external energy, and the marginal energy, or Tatastha Shakti, the jivas. Now we'll come to in a minute how so if we think of Krishna as being the sun, we can say that the sunlight is his internal energy. Now we cannot separate the sun and the sunlight. Wherever there is sun, there is also sunlight. So the internal energy of Krishna, which is Radharani, is always with him. And so what is Maya then? So from the Adi Shakti, we have we have other Shaktis born out of the Adi Shakti. So Maya is the external Shakti, which is a partial representation of the internal Shakti, or it expands into the external Shakti. So in the spiritual world, we call it Yoga Maya. What is the meaning of yoga? Yoga is connection. And so what is the role of Yoga Maya? The role of Yoga Maya is to connect the individual souls with the Lord. And that is all in the spiritual world. And everybody is a devotee. Everyone's connected to Krishna. Even when Krishna incarnates in this material world, we see that Yoga Maya covers the, all the Vrajavasis. Mother Yashoda thinks his baby Krishna, gosh, somebody protect him. Otherwise, the demons are always attacking him. He's eating dirt. He's always telling, Balaram, please look after your brother. Otherwise, he's going to eat dirt. Please, Krishna, go with your brother, go with your father. Be careful. The mother, runs after Krishna with a stick that if you steal butter anymore, I'm just going to beat you. I'm going to tie you up. This is Yoga Maya. She forgets the fact that this is her Krishna. Madhumangal and the other friends, they would get up on Krishna's shoulders, and they would do all kinds of things, and tease Krishna, take his food away. They all thought, and if Krishna would say, I killed this demon, they would say, of course not. Don't joke with us. You didn't kill that demon. Your father is a great devotee of Vishnu, Lord Vishnu. And because Lord Vishnu is very happy with your father, that is the reason he empowers you, and then you go and kill, you kill the demons. So Krishna, don't say lies to us. You didn't kill the demons at all. So that is Yoga Maya. Nobody would believe that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But what is this doing? This loving attachment, this completely informal loving attachment is what Krishna loves. And Yoga Maya does that. She's able to put that covering in which allows the individual souls to connect with Krishna in a completely own way, without any formalities at all. Of course, it can be in, Yoga Maya can be slightly formal as well. Yoga Maya is a big topic. I mean, we won't go into that. We'll concentrate on Mahamaya today. But obviously, you also have Dwarika, Krishna as Dwarikadish, where even though the queens of Dwarika, even they have the relationship of Madhurya Ras with Krishna. But whereas the Madhurya Ras of the Vrindavan Gopis, that is Parakya love, the topmost, that of the queens is Swakya love, or that of the queens, that of a husband, that's that of a relation between a husband and wife, which is slightly different. It is as sweet, but perhaps mixed with a bit of awe and reverence, which is completely absent in the Vrajavasis. Or in not just Madhura Ras, in all the rasas, in whether it's Vatsalya, Sakya, or Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, or Madhurya. But that's Yoga Maya. She connects the souls with Krishna. And so if we say the sun is Krishna, sunlight is Yoga Maya, and they are inseparable, impossible to disconnect the sun and sunlight. What is Maya then? And how are we saying that Maya is also connected to Krishna and the internal energy? So we can say Maya is like the cloud. So we have the cloud. How does the cloud form? So say, for example, there's an ocean. So the sun with the heat of the sun, evaporates the water, doesn't it? And then that becomes the cloud. The moisture rises and that becomes the cloud. So we see the cloud is formed because of the sun, because of the heat from the sun. So the sun, and well, how does the heat come? The heat comes through the sunlight, doesn't it? So the sun and the sunlight makes the cloud to appear. So the cloud is not as much part of the sun and the sunlight. But it is, it is made, it is, whereas it wasn't there originally, it was made to happen due to circumstances. Okay, so similarly, when an energy is required to come to the material world for a particular reason, for a purpose, that is when Mahamaya is created. The illusory energy of the Lord is created. And so she comes as Mahamaya and is in the material world and is it presides over the material world, controls the jivas in the material world through the three modes of material nature. So whereas, so we have to understand, and this is the core understanding, that the Vedic text explains very clearly that although we call Maya as an illusion, that illusion is also a part of the Lord. The illusion in the spiritual world created is through Yogamaya. In the material world, it is through Mahamaya. And this Mahamaya causes avidya, as the verse says. It causes ignorance, it causes avidya, and it gives rise to, all kinds of duality, which we'll talk about as we go deeper and deeper into the verse. And these, like good or bad. You have good experience, bad experience. In the spiritual world, even jealousy is, absolute. Jealousy is only for Krishna. Who can serve Krishna better? Who can love Krishna better? You come to the material world, jealousy is a completely negative emotion. So these dualities all come under Maya. And because of these dualities, people are they are bound in this material world more and more and more and more. I mean, Maya is referred to in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.7.5. It's referred to as Yaya Sammohita Jiva, or it just captures us and we are just under its control. It just hypnotizes us and we are completely under its control. So then we say, so if the clouds, going back to that analogy that Prabhupada gives in one of his previous purports, if the clouds are taken as the internal external energy, and Krishna is the sun, we understand that when the clouds cover the sun, which happens quite a bit, we cannot see the sun. And that's exactly what happens. That is what is being told to us in this verse. When that illusion of Mahamaya, because Mahamaya is the cloud, when that covers us, we cannot see the sun, we cannot see Krishna. So an energy coming out of Krishna doesn't allow us to see Krishna. Yes? And so the job of Maya is to cover Krishna from us. And she does that under the order of Krishna. Now one may ask then, Krishna is so merciful. Why is it that he gives Maya such a difficult job? He's being so, he's not being very merciful. He's giving Maya is part of Krishna. Maya is, as you know, we say Durga Devi. Durga Devi is not Jiva Tattva like the other demigods. You have the demigods who reside in the heavenly planets. All the heavenly planets, you have Pu, Bhuva, Swaha. It starts from the sun right up to, the Dhruva Loka. All the heavenly planets, they are all in the universe, material universe. And the demigods, they are positions occupied by exalted devotees. They are all Jiv Tattva. They have qualified to become demigods. But Durga Devi, Maya Devi, she's not, she's not a Jiva Tattva. She is Ishwar Tattva. She's part of the Lord. So we ask, why is it, that she's given such a thankless job when Krishna is so merciful? And the answer is that Krishna is very merciful. And that is the reason he uses his own energy to facilitate what the illusioned jivas want. And what do the jivas want? What do the jivas who have come to the material want in the first place? They all wanted to enjoy by themselves without the supervision of Krishna. They all wanted to be their own masters, their own lords. And so what does the Lord do? Being very, very merciful, he allows that. And how does he allow that? He makes Maya facilitate that. Because you have to understand, unless and until someone completely forgets Krishna, someone forgets that they have someone higher on top of them, they will never be able to behave as the master. So, if I'm the CEO of a company, I have the right to give orders and I have the right to do a lot of things. An employee of that company will not be able to do exactly what they want because they know they have to get sanctions from other people above them. So for them to be able to do whatever they want, they have to forget that there is a hierarchy of people above them. And that is what Maya does. Maya makes people forget that Krishna is the master. And as a result, the jivas who had wanted to be masters of themselves, when they defected from the spiritual world, they start thinking that they are the masters. And so Maya has this thankless job, as Prabhupada says. Yes, this very, very thankless job. And how does Maya do that? How does Maya make people understand? I've got 10 minutes. Okay. Maya does that through two of her potencies. One is the covering potency. And, there was a lovely class by Satyanath Prabhu I was listening to who spoke about these two potencies, the covering potency and the throwing potency. There are Sanskrit terms for it, which I'm not going to go into details today, maybe next week. So looking at the time. So the first potency, covering potency, what does that mean? So this is the power to cover the knowledge of the jiva. It's called the Avaratmika Shakti, but we won't go into that. But so, and Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 7.15 says, Maya yaparhita jnana. What does that mean? Knowledge is stolen by illusion. Maya does that, steals the knowledge, so covers the knowledge. And why should knowledge be covered? Because unless the jiva is covered by Maya or illusion, he cannot think of himself to be the Lord, as we explained. And only if one forgets that one has a master above them, only when they can forget that, can they themselves start acting like a master. So Maya has two parts. With the first part, Maya helps in covering that knowledge of the jivas. What is the second part of Maya? Called the prakshetatmik Praksepatmika Shakti. I can't even pronounce. So the second part of Maya is the throwing potency. What is the throwing potency? The power to throw the jiva into the ocean of material existence. So when we sing that prasadam prayer, we say, Mahaprasadi Govinda, there is a line in that which say, Sharira Vidya Jodendriya Tahekal. What does that mean? Jive Fele Bishaya Sagore. What does that mean? This material body is a network of ignorance. And the senses that we have, they are our enemies. For what do the senses do? They throw the soul into the ocean of material sense enjoyments. So first, the jiva is given a material body, and then they're thrown into the material ocean by making them entangled with the senses. Okay, and what are these senses? We have the karmendriyas, the working senses, and the Gyanendriyas, the knowledge acquiring senses. Does anyone remember what they are? So, okay, so we have, how do we work? We work with our hands, legs, our genitals, rectum, have feet. We acquire knowledge through eyes, ears, nose, smell, touch. And then we also have, so we have 5 Gyanendriyas, 5 Karmendriyas, and we also have the mind, intelligence, and false ego. And what does Maya do? So we are talking about the throwing part of Maya, the throwing duty of Maya, throwing the jivas or throwing the souls into the ocean of material existence. How? By making these senses, giving these, too many options. So if there is if we want to eat, there's the option, loads and loads of options. Loads of options to watch things, to hear things, to see things. And how is Maya testing that person? So if a jiva, instead of eating meat, chooses to eat sattvic prasadam, Maya will note that. If the jiva, instead of drinking something intoxication, has charanamrita, whether the jiva is here singing, any kind of songs which do not have very nice words, or whether that jiva with the mouth is singing kirtan. So with these things, the jiva, by throwing the soul into that material ocean, an ocean has loads, its ocean is innumerable, it's limitless. So Maya throws us into that field of limitless options, and then tests us if we are going the sattvic way, the raja way, or the tama way. And so the jiva very nicely thinks, so I am making choices, I am enjoying, I am, doing this and that, but all that's happening, as the Shastras say, is they are simply being pulled by these 3 ropes, the 3 gunas, the sattva gun, the rajagun, and the tamagun. And if there is a lot of sattva gun, that is where Maya is giving, sending an email to the higher authorities that this jiva is progressing. If there's lots of rajagun and a lot of tamagun, that's where Maya sends emails to say that this person is just more and more entangled and needs to be in this Maya, in this world more. So again, very quickly, Maya has 2 parts. With one part, Maya covers the knowledge. With the other part, Maya throws that jiva into giving them a lot of options to enjoy their senses. And with these 2, what does Maya do? Maya entangles jivas more and more into this world. A thankless task, however, wanting to make them understand that this is a prison house and it's only a place to be reformed. And once the jivas, through the challenges, lifetimes after lifetimes, they finally understand that, that is where they want to transcend the three modes. But otherwise, unless and until, even, if they are just enjoying and then, even accruing a lot of good karma, going to the heavenly planets, or, being born in a very nice, being born in very nice circumstances over here, then again, using up all their good karma, being dragged into, different lower planets, going through. This cycle goes on until and unless Maya is able to make the jiva realize that this is not the right place for them, that this is not their real home. As Prabhupada says, that, a mother can give up, if a child is making a lot of demands, the mother can give a toy cookery set to the child to cook. But the child may try and try and try, but will never be able to cook real food. With the toy cookery items. And at the end, the child will learn its own lesson and go to the mother and have real food cooked in the real utensils and the real, hub or stove or, gas. And that is what Maya's thankless job is. By putting people through this, lots and lots of challenges, finally making the jivas realize that this is all unreal. This is not going to give me real happiness. And so they come to the real mother, the real father, and then they want to go back to Godhead. As Radhanath Swami says in a very lovely analogy, he says that it's like going to the gym. And he gives the example of the gym weights. So the gym weights, they act against us, we take up the gym weights and it's really, really heavy. So they act against us, but by acting against us, they make us stronger. Similarly, Maya acts against us. So we say we are in the clutches of Maya, oh, it's Maya's taking off. But no, Maya is never we are entangled in Maya, but Maya is acting on the directions of the Lord. And Maya is a direct representative of the Lord, wanting to do good for us. And how is it doing good for us? It's making us stronger, in our conscience, making us realize that we have to go out. So rather than being entangled, Maya entangles, which automatically leads to another section, which I don't think I'll be able to cover today. So maybe I'll cover next day. There is a section where Maya not just entangles, but Maya puts us under delusion as well. And we'll have to define what is delusion, because there are 5 things under delusion. What is delusion? Misleads. Maya has the task of not just entangling us, but also putting us into illusion or delusion or misleading us. And when Maya misleads us, Maya does that through 5 different things, which I'll just mention today, but we'll explain it in the next class. So Maya puts us under delusion through avidya, asmita, bhaga, dvesha, and abhinavesha. So we'll explain these 5 terms next time. But as of today, because it's 7 o'clock, to summarize, okay, so in the second verse, the first verse of the Chatushloki, the Lord talks about himself. He was there before creation. He's there in the present. He's going to be there in the future. He is the constant person. And we are still in the Sambandha part, making those relationships. So we talked about, who's the Lord, and now the Lord is talking about, in the second verse of the Chatushloki, the Lord is telling Lord Brahma about his illusory nature, his energies, and then more specifically about his illusory nature or illusory energy or Maya, which entangles the people or keeps them in the prison of this material world. But Maya is not really our enemy. Maya is actually part of Lord. He's like the Maya, she's like the cloud coming from Adi Shakti, Radharani, and then from her comes, all the Shaktis, Yogamaya, internal energy, and then the external energy being the cloud. Internal energy, which is always with the Lord, like the sun is always with the sunshine, and the external energy, which is created by the sun and with the help of the sunshine to facilitate something. And in this case, the cloud or the Maya, which covers Krishna, is created to facilitate the desire of the souls who wanted to be the master and come into this material world. And then Maya has two parts. It covers knowledge, and it also throws the jivas into the material ocean. And Maya also puts us in delusion, which perhaps we might be able to discuss next week. So in summary, Maya is like a recruiting agency, as Prabhuji said, as Satyanath Prabhuji said. Maya is like a recruiting agency of Krishna, where she creates and governs the material world under the orders of Krishna. And why does she do that? To test the jiva. And she does so by her two potencies, the covering and the throwing potencies. And then she also entangles them and puts the jivas in delusion. And then if the jiva is able to overcome this delusion and this covering, then they'll be able to go back to Maya. Maya makes them realize that. And as we read through the verses in this chapter, we will see more and more about Maya. So with that, I conclude my discussion here today. Please accept my obeisances, and if I've made any mistakes, please do correct me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for today's session. I'm sorry I had to switch off my video because of the bandwidth. I think Eldoret is having a problem. Maybe tomorrow we might not even have internet. So, but are there any questions or comments? I'll have to go through the recording because there were times when I couldn't hear anything. So, but are there any questions or comments? Okay, if there are no more questions or comments, we can probably end the session. We have run over time today. So, Krishna, are you able to close the session for today? Hare Krishna. Okay, probably I can close the session. Let's all chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra once in glorification of Panchali Kar Mataji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu bhaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaः. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Her Grace Panchali Kar Mataji ki jai. Hare Krishna.
All glories to
Krishna. All glories to Prabhupada.
Thank you,
Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Thank you, Mataji's and Prabhuji's. Thank you.